What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. I hope everyone got to spend a lot of time with family and friends. You guys ate really well, rested, took a nice little nap during the day. I hope you guys had a really good weekend. But now it's very important to now get into the mindset that we're going to kill the rest of the year. And we're going to start the next year off even better. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the Santa Claus rally. I'm going to talk about the stock market and then, of course, the crypto market. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so the Santa Claus rally. Santa Claus rally occurs during the last week of December through the first 2 trading days in January. So this upcoming week is going to be the final week of December. And then Monday and Tuesday of next week is going to be the first 2 trading days of January. And what's interesting is that over the past 92 years, the S&P has gained, meaning it's been green for 77% of those 92 years. So during this time, the S&P is green 77% of the time. So we're going to go into the end of the year bullish because we have math and data on our side. All right. This is literally right here, right in front of us. All right. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY. So first of all, the MACD crossed above. We were looking at how the MACD was oversold a few days ago. We took that as a nice little buy signal because the NASDAQ was also bottomed out. And yeah, so we worked out of oversold, just barely crossed above recently, and we're almost at new all-time highs. So what I am going to be looking at on the SPY is we need to get a close above 471. If we can get a close above 471, that is going to be very bullish because that would be the first. That would be the highest green close that the SPY has ever had. We did make new all-time highs on December 16th, but that was not sustainable. So that's why I'm saying if we close above 471, new all-time highs basically by the end of the year, early January is almost guaranteed at that point because it would be such a strong move. And I do think that that is possible because the RSI, you can see, is moving stagnant here, right? So when the RSI is moving stagnant, when the price action of the actual stock is very dramatic, that means that there's tons of strength still left in the tank. So now imagine if the RSI continued going at this weird slope while the SPY continued skyrocketing. That is basically, by the time the RSI becomes oversold, the SPY would basically be trading up here, right? At the same, if we were to go about the same rate, right? That's exactly what would happen. So currently we are looking very bullish. And, you know, once we make new all-time highs, the next upward target is going to be this new fib level at 488.76. So for that to happen, we need to close above 471. And then the SPY needs to hold this 468 level as support. If those 2 things can be met, then that is very bullish. And yeah, then it looks really good for the end of the year or early next year on the SPY. There's my analysis on that. But to get a better understanding of where the SPY is going to be, we need to take a look at the NASDAQ and the IWM. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the QQQ. All right, so the NASDAQ, we caught this bottom perfectly a few days ago. We saw that the NASDAQ was trading outside of the lower level of the B band. We were oversold on the MACD. We were at multiple levels of support. It was a great buying opportunity. Here we are. All right, so now we closed above this very important fib level at 396.78. So that level obviously needs to maintain as support. But again, if that fails, then this 393 level needs to hold as support. Currently, the RSI is also extremely stagnant in the way that it's moving currently because, I mean, the price action of the stock is moving so sharply, right? The RSI should also be moving sharply. But the fact that it's moving like this basically shows there's still tons more room to the upside. Currently, that's basically what this RSI is showing. If the RSI moved sharply, like even if it moved sharply like this right here, that would make sense, right? I mean, but the fact that it's moving very stagnantly with a sharp move is pretty bullish. So we closed above this very important resistance level. the next level of resistance that we basically need to close above is this high here at essentially 400. If we can close above 400, then the next targets are going to be 402 and then the most recent all-time highs. So the fact that the NASDAQ still looks very bullish is very good for the SPY as well, right? So those are the levels that need to hold and break on the NASDAQ. And last but not least, let's go ahead and take a look at the IWM. All right, so currently the IWM does not look as bullish in terms of the indicators as the NASDAQ or the SPY. So you can see that the MACD on the IWM is very, very overbought compared to the SPY, which just recently crossed above, or the NASDAQ even. The IWM, on the other hand, is very, very overextended. But the RSI is still stagnant. You know, it's still barely moving upward in the sharpness that it's supposed to be. So that's a good sign for the IWM. The other good sign is that we broke above 220.54, held as support, while this downward trend line also held perfectly as support. So that is a very, very good sign. What might end up happening now is on Monday, we can come back and retest this trend line support literally at 220. So if 220 doesn't hold, then this very important 218.11 level needs to hold as support. And either way, a retest of both of those levels is completely fine in the grand scheme of things, because we did have a huge rally in the past few days. So seeing a bit of a minor retracement of profit taking Monday and Tuesday of this week is completely normal. So just be aware of that. Not everything is just going to automatically continuously go up. Just be careful that it could retrace back a bit, a few days. So essentially the IWM has the most room to go to the upside. And generally in December and January, the IWM, or the Russell 2000, is the leading indice. So currently the IWM has tons more room left to go to the upside. It has another at least 10% to get to the most recent all-time highs, whereas the NASDAQ and the SPY are barely a few percentage points away. So we have to monitor this, because if we can catch the bottom on the IWM and catch the rotation, because hedge funds and banks, they rotate out of winning positions and they put their money into losing positions. So essentially, if you know, the NASDAQ and the SPY, they're all the way up here. Say for example, because they are in accordance to the all-time high price, the NASDAQ or the SPY is up here and the NASDAQ is like down here. So hedge funds and banks, as the NASDAQ and the SPY make new all-time highs, or they're tapping at the prior all-time highs resistance, more and more money is going to be piled into, people are going to sell these, and they're going to take profits and put the money into the IWM, because there's still so much more room to the upside. So that is what can potentially happen into January. And it's very important to continue to monitor the IWM, because the IWM is literally the indice that I made the most money off of personally. And it moves like a beast when you catch it properly. So yeah, just be very wary of that. The only two things that I see as an issue currently is the Bollinger Band is moving very sharply down. So when it's moving very sharply down like this, and the price, for example, begins to cross outside, then price generally returns back inside. So that is a bit bearish. The other bearish thing is the indicator is very overbought. Aside from that, the SPY and the NASDAQ are showing tons of strength. The IWM is holding its own at the bottom here. So if we can rotate our money out of the NASDAQ and the SPY, put it into the IWM, we can basically make money both ways. And I hope that is what I helped you guys do when I called out the NASDAQ bottom a few days ago. We got into NASDAQ calls. So now, once that happens, I really want to keep my eye on the IWM heading into the new year, especially into this final week. And yeah, there's my analysis on the IWM and the overall indices market. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the crypto market and Bitcoin, because literally it touched exactly where I thought it was going to. All right, so Bitcoin, I was saying how, I was saying back here that Bitcoin should break out, right? And I drew this circle a few videos ago. I just left it here because that was going to be the first target once we broke out. So literally this is just textbook technical analysis here. So we broke out of this formation, right? We came back down, retested it, held here, and we skyrocketed, and then we basically came back and retested the prior resistance at this 51,640 level, and that held as resistance perfectly. That was a beautiful target, a beautiful trade. So now essentially what I think is going to end up happening is potentially Bitcoin can come back and retest 53,000 and essentially 53 to 54,000, retest this downtrend line here and make everyone very, very bullish, and then it'll bring it back down to the 40s, the mid to high 40s, and then from there hopefully we'll see like another capitulation to the downside to like 40k, 35 to 40k, and then once everyone becomes very, very bearish and fearful towards the end of Q1, maybe even Q2, into the summer potentially, that's when I think that the market is going to begin to really make new all-time highs. So potentially into the end of summer or the end of 2022, that's when I think Bitcoin is going to make newer all-time highs. Because currently the indicators, so right now the MACD on Bitcoin is terrible, right? The RSI is also not that great because we moved very, very dramatically from not a huge move, right? It was only essentially $3,000 on Bitcoin, and we moved from 37 to 49 on the RSI. So we moved up 12 points on the RSI for a $3,000 move. That's not sustainable. RSI is obviously going to be very, very oversold by the time Bitcoin even touches these new all-time highs. So that is bearish, right? And the MACD is also very overbought. That's also very bearish. So we need to take that into consideration and keep in mind that now Bitcoin is, going to, there's multiple reasons why Bitcoin should be going down. The indicators are not bullish, and we're now trading at resistance. So these patterns played out. So now we might see another push forward, but then it's going to be very, very dicey. So just be careful. 50,000 needs to hold a support. Then these are the next levels of support moving forward. And these would be the levels of resistance to 53,300. And this very important trend line at approximately 53 to 54,000. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I post all of my trades completely for free on Twitter, and we're going to have an amazing week again. And I am very happy that I get to help you guys out so much. And hopefully next year I'm going to help you guys out even more, and we're going to grow together. We're going to learn together. We're going to make a bunch of money together. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.